As the agent from Twin Peaks would say, that's a dang fine cup of coffee.
Twin Peaks.
You ever watch Twin Peaks?
I think I have.
Oh, it's a
When
good
you said
show.
Twin Peaks, I was thinking of a restaurant.
Yeah, there is a restaurant called Twin Peaks, isn't there?
Well, you know, we have one down there in Jacksonville, but I never did eat there.
Yeah.
It-
Well, we are live now. See if we can get a few viewers on here.
Boop, boop.
And, maybe we will, maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't. If not, we'll just be sitting here talking the entire time.
Exactly. And you know what? Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Because we're here for ourselves mostly.
Maybe reach out to a few people here and there.
Yeah. All right. Share it on my own Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll join in with you there. Do it from my phone.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
So, all right. You know what? Eventually, we'll have some viewers on here.
Do-do-do.
You know, it's 5:30. Also, people are just
People
now
just
getting
now
off
getting
work.
off work.
Okay. Well, so Thomas, what we got on tap for today?
Well, Kevin, today we have several subjects we can talk about. We've got anything from the Halo Nerf guns, which I think I'm excited about, that I want to play with my kids with. I know it'll be great having a needler around the house and
Oh, yeah.
peeking around the corners and shooting either my kids or my wife with it. The darts don't explode, though.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Be quite a mess to clean up. I couldn't imagine explaining that to Sheena. What happened?
It's like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
What didn't happen? That's a better question.
I was trying to win the war, okay? I know there's a lot of Halo fans out there that really enjoy those, which, of course, they have the Needler, the Battle Rifle, and that's the two most iconic ones. I can't remember the other one that was coming out.
I believe it's the Magnum.
Magnum? Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and show our viewers a little bit of that. You know, come on, where's it at? Oh, I'm gonna have to go back to graphics, but that's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, there we go. Thought I had that in there. So, there we go. They're gonna see this.
Take a look at this bad boy right here. Doesn't just make you want to relive your teenage years playing LAN party games of Halo.
I gotta say, it looks pretty good.
It does. It really does. It looks very true to the game itself.
Yeah. About the only thing they could do that would be make it more accurate would be to probably just put the whole thing in purple.
Yeah. But then that take away from the Nerf. You know,
That's
having
true.
the contrasting colors and everything.
Yeah. Plus, you have to have that orange tip on there just because of
Just as Nerf.
U.S. law.
Yeah. So I didn't even know there was a law where it had. You know,
Oh yeah, they've had that for
I always wondered
probably
why.
since the '80s.
I've always wondered why like the tip was always orange.
Mm-hmm. See, there was remember the old Megatron Transformer
Mm-hmm.
where he turned into
The
the old
gun.
Walther PPK?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The when they did the reissue, I don't think this was a law until probably the '90s.
Okay.
Because when they did like the 20th anniversary reissue, that's when they had the orange tip.
Mm. That kind of took away from it there a little bit. I'd say the ones that the figures that don't have the purple tip before the reissue, I'd say those are worth quite a bit, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I would have no doubt about that. Anything that's classic, that's what people really want anyway. Whether it be cars, action figures, collectibles, especially old comics.
I think you've got several collectors out there. I know I worked with a guy before that said he had the very first Superman. Never saw a picture of it or anything, but he always claimed he had it and refused to sell it. He had been offered $1 million for it, but refused. I'm like, then why? Personally, I probably would have sold it back then and which also was probably I was younger and dumber back then. Let it build up some more value, I guess.
I mean, that's understandable because I guess you would want, you would want to build up some more value. I think the highest it was at one point was, when I last checked anyway, it was like over 2 million. Yeah, I think that was for like a mint copy.
Mint copy, yeah.
I know Nicolas Cage, he had a copy of issue number 1, and it was stolen from a storage unit that he had. Like, why you would keep that in a storage unit, I don't know. But he was reimbursed for it by his insurance company, and then he had to. I think they wanted to refund the money because he actually, a few years later, he did end up recovering it. So, but of course, you would insure something like that.
I can't believe Nicolas Cage had a copy of it, but then I was like, didn't they try to cast him as Superman there at one point?
They did, and I guess they finally succeeded with the Teen Titans movie.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you wouldn't even have to pay him. He was already paid $14 million, or was it $4 million? He did get an upfront fee when he was cast.
I'd say most,
which was smart.
Yeah, most big name actors, of course, they do.
All right. So
next on the agenda here that I have. What do you think Sony is going to do? I know, we had the PS5 coming out this year, but people don't really see the money side of what's going on with Sony and everything. I know they took a big hit. I believe it was the PS3. The PS4, I think they kind of broke even, whereas the PS3, I think they were losing money with the consoles. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you think that Sony is having some woes? I mean, they skipped E3 last year. I believe they're skipping again this year. So I believe that I think they're going to have to do something. I know the price point of the PS5, from everything I'm reading, is about $500, which is, I mean, that's about average for a new console, not including Nintendo, but between Sony and Microsoft. And do you think that they're going to lose money on it? You think they're going to make money? You think they're going to be able to redeem themselves, or scrap it and start all over?
I never underestimate the amount of money that a gamer is going to throw at something that they can play on.
Yeah.
You see most people build like $1,200 computers just to play one video game. Well, or multiple video games.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, but,
That's true. PC is the master race, is what everyone says. But, I mean, you can do a lot, though, with a PC. And you can play a lot of games on it. You can play pretty much, really, the majority of the games on it that you want to play anyhow.
I mean, especially where you have, services like Steam.
Mm-hmm. And now Steam is doing, I know Steam has done cross-play before with consoles. I know that they're playing really friendly. Microsoft is playing really friendly also with Nintendo, and I think Sony has kind of just snubbed Nintendo completely out of the way. And because you had Nintendo, they really screwed up when they made the Wii U, I believe, and it wasn't necessarily the system was that a bad system. It was that it was terrible marketing. A lot of people thought it was just like an attachment for the Wii. They didn't know that it was a standalone system itself.
Right. And I think that probably came a lot from the name itself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the U. I still don't know what the U stands for. If it stood for anything, really.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I would think maybe like user interface, because like you had like the handheld tablet that you could play everything on.
Right.
But I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of as well. My kids, we still have a Wii U at the house. Just they watch Netflix and stuff, and they play a few games on it. But we've all upgraded to the Switches, and see, I kind of dropped out of the console community after the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and I never did get a Xbox One or PS4. Now with both the Xbox Series X, which I think is a stupid name, but
Yeah.
I'm not Microsoft.
Yeah. I mean, clearly they know a little something about marketing. Bill Gates
do.
was the richest man in the world at one point.
For a long time. Really nice guy, though. But
Yeah. That's what all the people at Betzelene High School say.
yeah. Of course, went there after I graduated.
Yeah. He didn't care when you were there.
No, I didn't care at all. But, when that and the PS5 drop later this year, we'll see what goes on, and see how well both systems do. I really think with Xbox, they're really working how Google is with the Stadia. They have where everything's just streamed, and I do think it's the future. Is it there right now? I don't think so. I don't think it's 100% there right now, and Google Stadia will be just a stepping stone. Just like, personally, I don't think VR is there right now. I think VR is still yet a little while away. I mean, it's getting better, it's improving, but that's how with all technology.
Right.
I mean, back in the day, you remember your first home computer was
Yeah.
old and slow, and now you've got a computer. Well, a phone is more technologically advanced than anything we had even in high school.
Yeah, like now you can probably hack the Pentagon with a cell phone. I mean, hopefully their security is a little more upgraded, but
yeah,
compared to that would be like witchcraft to somebody in the 1970s.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine a time traveler going back in time and then just like having a cell phone?
He'd probably blow up. His head would explode.
That's true.
And then he'd hunt you down.
Just imagine like Red Foreman seeing a cell phone.
He wouldn't know what to do with it. He'd probably say something about where he was in the war, and then, call you a dumb A.
Yeah.
And then threaten to put his foot up there.
And then break the phone.
And then break the phone.
That was the 70s, so yeah, that just seemed like a very, very big time to break objects. And I've heard of people, like older people, breaking plates. I never understood that. I don't like breaking things.
I thought that was just like a Greek celebration thing.
No, just
start
like,
breaking plates out of
that. And personally, I've never had like the gamer rage to where I get so mad at a game I throw and break a controller or something. I don't know if you've ever experienced that.
I've never broken it, but I have thrown it.
I've never like got to that point where I just got so mad that I broke a controller. Which also back in the day a lot when I did play games, and maybe did have more anger back then. Teenage years. The controllers were all wired, so even if you did throw it, unless you threw it really hard, it was still attached to the system.
That's true. I mean, the other day, I just got really mad. I was getting really frustrated with my computer because after the last Windows update, couldn't reconnect through Wi-Fi anymore. So ended up breaking the clicker of the right mouse, right mouse button. So I had to take it apart and then tape it back in. So, but that was it wasn't that bad. But I would definitely have preferred to have not broken.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Continuing forward, I know you're more so into the collectibles and comics and stuff like that than I am. What came out today? I know today's a big day in the comic book community.
Oh yeah, Wednesday is New Comic Book Day. So one thing that has come out. There's a few. One, the first issue of the new Wolverine series has been released today.
Okay.
And that has been... They're doing this whole House of X thing and Powers of X. They just, totally revamped their X-Men line. So Wolverine is now basically the field commander of X-Force, which is the mutant nation CIA.
It's a good fitting role for him, I believe.
It really is. So a lot of it is former X-Force members. Well, you got Domino in there, who was featured in the second Deadpool movie.
She's no superpower. She's just really lucky.
Well, no, that is her superpower. Not very cinematic.
Deadpool would argue with that.
Yeah. So we have that going on, and this mission, they're trying to find people who are. I guess I have to kind of backtrack on it. So, Krakoa is their mutant nation, which is also a mutant itself. It was a character, an island that was introduced in Giant Size X-Men #1, which introduced Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Storm onto the team, as well as Sunfire and Thunderbird. So now they have started living on there, and it is creating these flowers that are also like super drugs. And I don't mean like, getting you high drugs, but like they're super medicine. Like if somebody has Alzheimer's, it can cure Alzheimer's. Cure cancer. Like these are like literally miracle drugs. And
Stuff
part
that
of
would
this,
be nice to have now.
right? That would be amazing to have. Unfortunately, and we might have it, but nobody wants to. There's no money to be made in cures.
Nope, only medicine.
Yeah. So what they're doing with that, somebody's been like stealing it and selling it on the black market, kind of like when there was that problem with like heroin and fentanyl. It's essentially that kind of problem.
Okay.
So they're trying to track down who it is that is making it and selling it, and they are cutting it with something awful because people are like exploding from the inside after taking the Krakoan drugs now.
Sounds like a trip to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with that in this. And he's actually, like, the mutant CIA is now coming into contact with the human CIA and the American CIA. So I would definitely have to put that as one of the ones that I would put on the list or for best comics that came out
Must
today.
reads for today.
Definitely a must read.
Okay.
So,
something
the
I'll
new
check
Batman,
out.
the current Batman series is also very good. The comic event that they've got going on is there was like a pact between the Gotham's rogues and this like secret anonymous individual who got them all together and made it to where they could plan the perfect heist to defeat Batman. Didn't finish that issue today, but it's a good run. I would definitely check it out.
Talking on Batman, what do you think of Robert Pattinson in the bat suit?
Robert Pattinson, I think it's looking good so far. It kind of reminds me of the last Gotham game, Arkham Knight.
I really enjoyed the Arkham games. Those are some of my favorite superhero games.
Yeah, some of the best video games, period, that they've put out
Yeah.
in the past few years.
I think I liked I told you about the sale that they had going on where you got all those games. Actually, it might have been for free on like the Batman.
Yeah, on the Steam store. Yeah,
I don't know, was it Steam or it was another client? I think I can't remember. Whatever client puts those games out, but yeah, they were all there. I don't like it. Even the Lego Batman games. I'm a big fan of the Lego games too. They're quirky and they're fun and they're just a good time without being too serious. But then it still has story to it, even though it's skewed a little bit. But
that's what I enjoy about it too.
yeah. And speaking of superhero games, I know you're excited about the Avengers game coming out, and especially the Hulk that you can get with it with pre-order, right?
Yes, and we got to show that to our viewers right now. I mean, this is it's neat for one, and for lack of a better word. They have this. They're calling it Outback Hulk.
So,
and you can see he kind of has like this Aboriginal design,
Okay.
Paint on him.
Oh, I really like that. That's
Yeah,
I like that they, he's gray like the original Hulk was.
yeah,
But yeah, I like that look. I like he's got a little scruff to him too.
yeah.
He was fitting right with her cast here, except for his
Exactly.
man a few words though. I would assume.
Oh, yeah, very few words. Unless this is like in-game Hulk, where he's like merged with Banner.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And it's really very reminiscent of a couple of other takes on the Hulk that they've had in the comics in the past few years. Obviously, the design of him in the Outback is very similar to the House of M storyline, where I never read his part of that,
Okay.
but he was in the Outback with a group of Aborigines.
Okay.
As you can see here, couldn't find any good pictures of the artwork, but that was a Marvel Legends action figure they put out a few years ago in a box set, and it's also kind of with like a cross with the Barbarian Hulk as well from the Mark Silvestri run.
I like that. I like that rendition of Hulk. Actually, it's probably one of my favorite renditions of the Hulk that I've seen.
Yeah.
which the gray one, the one that's coming with that you can get with the Avengers game. It doesn't come specifically with it. Don't get me.
Yeah, you do
Don't
have
get my
to
words
pre-order a
twisted
bundle.
there. Yeah, you have to pre-order the bundle to get it. And is that through GameStop? Or,
Yeah, that will be
okay.
a GameStop exclusive. It's part of their Gamerverse line for Marvel Legends, which before they put out a Spider-Man figure of that from the PS4 Spider-Man game. There's also 2 other
Fantastic game, by the way.
Yeah, it really is. There's not. I don't think I've played a better Spider-Man game at all.
No, because it just mechanics and everything flows so well, and it's just a really good take on Spider-Man in the video game world.
And another thing that they've also had a couple of other Spider-Man suits from that line, the Velocity suit, Marvel Legend, and the Spider Armor Mark III, I believe, which was taken from the comics from the Ends of the Earth storyline.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of those. And if you can still track down that original one, that original PS4 suit design was pretty sweet.
It was. Continuing with some more collectibles, I know something else that you're excited about is the G.I. Joes.
Oh, of course.
I've never seen better looking G.I. Joes myself. I know back when I was growing up, it was. I always loved watching the G.I. Joes, and I watched a lot of G.I. Joes, Ninja Turtles, Beast Wars.
Beast Wars was amazing.
I love Beast Wars, and I loved all the Beast Wars toys back then. And I wish I would have kept them all in box now, but whatever.
Yeah,
Can't go back now.
That's true. Yeah. So what we see we got here, the first one that they've shown pictures of right now is Snake Eyes for the 6-inch Classified series.
I think that's probably my favorite figure.
I mean, it just looks amazing. He's got that great military look to him, and I think they're saying this one is going to be a convention exclusive, which has the background, the backdrop, which is also a weapon stand for a dojo. That's why it comes with like so many additional weapons there in the foam. I imagine this will probably go out first to the some of the convention goers or expo goers at Toy Fair this week.
Where's that take place at?
That takes place in New York.
New York. Okay, I know New York and California are 2 of the big ones for the expos.
So
one year I need to make it out to E3. That's like a wish of mine is to make it to E3 sometime and see all of that.
they really make it difficult for anybody to get to E3. Like if you're not like somebody in the gaming industry.
Right. I know E3 would be fun. I would love to have went to BlizzCon, but that's kind of went downhill, and Blizzard has made a lot of people mad.
Yeah, especially during the China protests.
Well, the China protests, and before that, because people were already mad before that, but because the E3, or not the E3, but the BlizzCon before that left a really bad taste in people's mouth. One of the I can't remember his title, but one of the people that works for Blizzard, when they showed off Diablo Immortal, which is going to be for a smartphone. Well, I don't think we've heard anything else about it really, but people were booing because they were expecting Diablo 4, which now has been shown off at this BlizzCon this year, or this past BlizzCon, whatever. But when he made the comment after they were all booing of, well, don't you all have phones? Not gamers. I mean, we may enjoy.
Everybody has a phone.
Everybody has a phone, but we enjoy playing on the phones when we're on the go. Unless I have my Switch with me, which I usually do.
Right.
But gaming on the phone is just not as much fun. I'm sorry, as gaming on a console or a PC or anything else, really, because you have to continually to get better in the game. You have to keep forking out more money. It's like, oh, this game is free to play, and then it's like, oh, I'm level 5. Oh, to continue forward, you have to pay this much to do these quests or whatever. And it's all stupid. And I'm sure the Diablo Immortal probably wouldn't have been much better. And I mean, around here, we don't have the greatest service if you have AT&T.
That's true. But if you have Appalachian Wireless, it's fantastic.
Or Verizon, yeah. Both of those are good choices. Appalachian Wireless, especially. And I know they're local, so it's nice to be able to local businesses and everything. Speaking of local businesses, I will go ahead and give a shout out to Jen Kopecky and
City Perk,
City
yes,
Perk.
for letting us set up here today.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. Stop by here anytime, guys. Get you a nice coffee. They have some sweet treats in the case and everything. And
we're enjoying some fine signature
we
brew
are.
right now.
It is delicious.
So, Pinkies Out, people.
Yep.
And it's not too hot, so if we spilled on ourselves this time, it's not going to cause third-degree burns.
To begin, it was very hot.
It was extremely hot. Sheena had just made a fresh pot.
Yes, but it's delicious. Come on down here anytime, guys. In business hours, of course.
Yeah. Don't come down right now.
No, it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
nerds sitting around here talking.
Yeah. We're not going to give you any service. We'll just give you some looks until you leave.
So, you know what this world really needs right now, Kevin?
What? What do they need right now?
This world needs Captain Planet.
They do need Captain Planet.
He's our hero.
He's going to take pollution down to zero. I mean, he tried in the 90s. I think we were doing pretty well for a while.
That's something that's overdue. They really need to come back out with Captain Planet. I believe that really instilled some good behaviors on some of us, but I really think that Captain Planet needs to come back around and, for round two.
The problem is, the billionaires now don't care about pollution.
That's true.
The one that did was Ted Turner. That's why he created Captain Planet. That was a passion project for him.
Well, yeah, that's true. Maybe someone can come out with a Captain Planet version too. He needs updated anyhow.
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. You guys got the money.
I could see Elon Musk doing it.
Elon Musk would definitely be a Captain Planet,
I could see him being Captain Planet.
I mean, that's probably what he's trying to do. By our powers combined, I'm powered by a lithium battery.
Yeah, I could actually. He would make a good Iron Man.
I think he's trying to be Iron Man.
I could see it. The next Tony Stark, Elon Musk.
Jeff Bezos has a very Lex Luthor type look about him.
Oh, he does. He really does.
So he's probably not going to help him. I mean, he was trying to do space travel. He was trying to take the fight to Superman.
We do have the Space Force now, Kevin.
Yeah.
Sign up for the Space Force today.
Yeah. Go fight Superman while he's just a baby.
Or Goku.
Or Goku, yeah. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, basically.
Goku was Superman with the tail.
Oh, I love anime. I do. I don't really have much anime to talk about today because I'm actually watching the third season of Seven Deadly Sins right now, which is good if you haven't checked it out. The whole series is good. I really like Bond in there, which I'm more of the not the main character kind of guy. Like Goku's not my favorite. I like Vegeta better, and
Vegeta has a much better character arc.
Yeah, he definitely does. His character development is phenomenal. That's one thing that I really like is how he's progressed from being a villain to now
wholesome family man.
Actually raises his son, unlike Goku.
Yeah.
Talk Piccolo.
Yeah. Piccolo is no doubt the best father figure in there. I would say Yamcha would be a better father than Goku.
If he wasn't dying all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not his fault. He's just, weak.
Oh.
And a little other anime news. That's also a bit of a collectible news.
Is this the Vegeta figure that you were showing me?
No, that one is sweet. The Uzaru.
Yes, that's an awesome figure. I really like that.
This one is from Samurai Champloo. It's going to be a collectible brought out by Storm Collectibles.
We have some Pokemon fans out there. I myself am a huge one. We have a new series as the Pokemon Twilight Wings, and it's on YouTube. It's some short episodes, and it's not revolving around Ash and Ash's adventures, which is nice. It's nice to have a turn from that. I mean, we did have the series that had Red, but Red is a character a lot like Ash. This right here is like showing other characters and everything, and it's based in Galar, which, if you don't know, is the newest region that Pokemon is in right now. Which we have two animes of Pokemon going right now: the main series and this series right here, which is on YouTube. And like I said, the episodes are short, and there's only 2 out right now, but the art style is phenomenal. And if you're a Pokemon fan, go check that out. It's actually on the Pokemon's official YouTube channel. And continuing on from Pokemon, actually, we have Pokemon Day coming on the 27th and they are showing off a new mythical that was it was a silhouette in the Coral magazine, which is a Japanese-only magazine, and it's mainly Pokemon news and other news from over there that, of course, we enjoy over here as well in Japan. And the mythical Pokemon, it's really unique looking. From the silhouette, it looks kind of like a monkey. It has like the long tail, and it looks like it has 4 bands in each arm. But from what I can tell, I think it's going to be some sort of monkey legendary. And Sword and Shield dropped last year, and they're having an expansion pass for the first time ever for Pokemon.
Well, that's surprising.
DLC. There's been a lot of turmoil in the Pokemon fan base, and some people will enjoy it, some people don't. But the expansion pass for the first time ever, it's nice because you're not having to buy a third game to get all the content. Whereas before, you would have, I would use the second generation, for example. You had Gold and Silver, and then you had Crystal.
Yeah.
So you had the third game, which was more expanded and all that. But now you've got just Sword and Shield, and then you have the expansion passes, which are coming out with additional islands and adding new Pokemon to the game because they did not put all the Pokemon, all 800 and some Pokemon in the game. So that was another thing, a reason for turmoil. But
well, let me ask you this, because
Yes.
you're much more plugged into the Pokemon fandom, and well, just especially with video games. I hadn't played one, I think, since Black Moon or something.
you had
It was for the DS.
okay. You had Black and White.
Okay, it was the black one.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you had Black 2 and White 2 also.
Yeah. But is there really a need to release multiple versions of the same game anymore? Why is especially with like the Switch, wouldn't it just be better to make it all a comprehensive game?
Well, I mean, they do it for many purposes, of course.
To sell.
Yes, but also they spread it out between the two. That way, it also gets you trading with other people and interacting with other people. That was one of the big things about Pokemon. If you remember back in the day, the Game Boys, you had the link cables,
the link cable.
and then you went from that to the IR with trading with the Nintendo Game Boy Advance, which had, I don't think you had to use.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of like the infrared with like a remote control.
And then you went from that to the DS, which then the DSi, if I'm not mistaken, is what introduced internet to the DS.
I think the original DS had it.
It had internet. It didn't have a browser though, did
Right.
it? Yeah, and then the DSi had a browser. Okay, yeah, thank you. And then you could trade worldwide. Now, you can still trade worldwide, but also it's still yet with the release of these games. There's also now an app called Pokemon Home. Pokemon Home, which it's where you can store all your Pokemon, and you can trade all the way up from what you had on the Black and White games through the Pokemon Bank, which then you can send it up to and the app itself is for the smartphones and is also for the Nintendo Switch, and it's $15.99 a year for the premium, or like
the mega storage.
Yeah. I think it can store up like 3,000 Pokemon, which is a lot.
Yeah. Are there even 3,000 Pokemon
no,
in the series?
there's not. There's
Okay.
800 and some. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but there's different forms of a lot of Pokemon too. Though there's Pokemon called Alcremie in the new games that has like 40 some different forms or whatever. It looks like a little pile of whipped cream with flavors on it, and depending on the topping that you evolve it with is what toppings it has on, what color it evolves into. So that's kind of nifty. But anyhow, going back to what you were talking about, the different versions, it's just interacting with other people, really trying to get you to, unless you buy both versions and then you can do it all yourself. But
that seems like it would be more complicated to do by yourself, though.
Well, not with Pokemon Home. That kind of helps out a lot.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But if you don't have Pokemon Home, you can
Or
trade.
you don't have all the disposable income to get multiple copies of the same game.
Which, actually, with the Switch, wouldn't do you much good because the saves are no longer on the cartridges with the Switch. When you save your games on the Switch, they're on the system itself, so you couldn't trade with yourself anymore, really. And
yeah, that makes sense.
you'd have to have multiple Switches with, different saves on them and stuff. It makes it a lot more complicated, but yeah, that's the main reasoning is just trying to get you to interact with other people. And to catch them all, which actually is just an American thing, by the
What's
way.
it called in Japan?
They didn't have the catchphrase "Got to catch
okay.
them all" in Japan. That was never that wasn't a thing over there. Really, it was mainly when it got westernized. It became.
Well, they also had James like shoot at them in one of the episodes of the cartoon. So.
Yeah, they do have some banned episodes. And kind of switching gears from Pokemon, but still staying along the same lines. Last year you had Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Big hit.
Huge hit. That was a fantastic movie.
It really was. And I think they did a really good job, like implementing the Pokemon and with the human world.
It looked enough like the Pokemon, but not making it look too realistic to where it looked off.
It would be terrifying if it looked too realistic. Like you could make a horror movie from Pokemon if you made it.
Can you
realistic.
imagine Venusaur in real life? That would be.
It's a giant frog, though. Venusaur is technically a frog.
Venusaur's a frog?
Yes, if you watch the walking animation from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, it hops. And it's based off of a frog. If you didn't know, it's a little bit weird.
No idea.
Yeah. It was a great movie. But another video game movie just beat it. Can you tell everyone what it is, Kevin?
That would be Sonic the Hedgehog, which I think nobody expected that whatsoever, especially after the backlash last year when the first clip of it came out where he looked absolutely horrifying and had human teeth.
Sonic smile. You can't get that Sonic smile out of your head.
Like that's nightmare fuel.
I'm really glad that they listened to the fan base, though, and
Yeah.
stopped it and were like, hey, thank you all for your feedback. We will work on it. They pushed back the release, and they fixed it, and it looks great. I've not got a chance to watch it yet.
I haven't either, but I've seen some reviews on it, and it's really positive.
Yeah, I think the only complaint really that I've seen from it is there wasn't enough snarky jokes that Sonic is famous for. I mean, Sonic's basically like the Spider-Man of the
video game world,
or let's see, Sonic Sega, like the Sega world, or
Sega universe. It seems like I don't know what I've heard a lot that like the mid and after credit scene seems to be setting up possibly a video game cinematic universe. I mean, I'm hoping John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins show up reprising Mario and Luigi.
I mean, you could really do something like that with. You have the not Pokemon, but Super Smash Brothers. You have all those characters, Sonic's in Super Smash Brothers. You got the Pokemon in Super Smash Brothers, and then you have Mario, obviously, in Super Smash Brothers. You could make a video game based on the Super Smash Brothers storyline, which is
it's a great storyline too.
Yeah,
which you wouldn't think that. I don't know how many people are familiar with the Super Smash Brothers storyline. I think some people just think it's just like a brawling game, but there's a great story there.
Yeah, the new one was really good, and they're adding more and more characters into it, which is always great. I always like playing as either, Pit or Dark Pit, especially. And the newer ones, though, I like Joker from Persona is a playable character, and he's really fun to play with.
See, for me, I'm like it's two extremes. Like I'm either like Kirby or Solid Snake. So
Kirby's
I mean,
good.
both of them have they have their merits to them.
For a long time, I think everyone hated playing against King K. Rool from Donkey Kong.
Oh, that was awful.
He was just so OP for a long time. I think they nerfed him, but he was
not in the story mode though.
No, yeah, he the belly bump and then being able to fly, and I think something that big should be able to fly personally with that little tiny little tiny propeller, but whatever. It's a video game world. What can you?
Yeah, it's not supposed to be realistic. Speaking of realism, something I want to get to real quick. For a while, at one point, the biggest cartoon and just like media franchise was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, big,
and
really big.
It's making a comeback with the animated series that Kevin Smith is producing.
I love Kevin Smith.
One of the best comics that came out today too was He-Man and Masters of the Multiverse, which is anti-Eternia He-Man. like traveling around to the different He-Man universes to gather the power of Grayskull. And one of those I happen to have a representation of right here.
Kevin's box of goodies
is Rebel Leader He-Man. And they call him Looking Down He-Man. Well, Keldor does. See, the other thing with this is in this comic book series, they have the movie He-Man. And the only person that they can find that they think would be able to beat Anti-Eternia He-Man would be Keldor, who is the original form of Skeletor before he became Skeletor, before he merged with the demon. So, yeah. Let's take a look at that real quick. Make sure I have it set up for the camera there.
It's a nice looking He-Man.
It is. And you can't just have He-Man without Skeletor.
Ooh.
So we've got the Dark Despot Skeletor, which is, played wonderfully by Frank Langella in the He-Man and Masters of the Universe movie.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I've always loved the look of Skeletor. Always.
It's a great look to him, and especially one of the things that doesn't get enough praise is the designs from the movie. I can't remember the name. It's Stout. His last name's Stout, who designed the looks for the film. There's great comic book art art on the back of it, and we'll show that as well. Way you can also see the front of it.
I really like the God Skeletor. That's just
I have him as well. I'm going to save it for next week.
Oh, okay.
But I just wanted to give the people a little peek here.
A little taste.
Yeah. And these are some of the last ones that are going to be put out in this style as well.
Oh, that's a bummer because that style is
this classic style that they put out. What it is it was taken. Mattel licensed it out to this company called Super 7.
Okay.
They've been doing quite a few collectibles throughout the years. They also have a Conan action figure, Conan the Barbarian figure, coming out in this style as well.
I love all that stuff from back then coming back.
Right. It's what the people want.
It is.
They want that nostalgia, and I was gonna open these up on air, but I just figured, you know what, I'll just let it be looked at. Yeah, because they're so nice.
They are. They're really nice looking figures.
And these were ones that had to be pre-ordered from Super 7's website.
Love that staff too.
Yeah, it's a great. I like how they made everything look in the movie, and you can still get these on websites. Like Big Bad Toy Store. If you're interested in it, there's 4 in the set. It was the Rebel Leader He-Man. 2 versions of Skeletor. There's the original, and then there's God Skeletor, and then there's Commander Karg, who has a hook for a hand. And apparently, his thing was he was also he was half bat, half human, half bat. So yeah, but yeah, just
man bat. Wait,
yeah,
that's already
that's already taken.
It's already taken.
Yeah. But part of the reason that this was some of the last ones from the classic style, Mattel they're working on. Creating something. It's an updated version of the old vintage look, of the old vintage figures. Okay. They're calling it Origins, and they've also got some out right now, which are part of the WWE figures. They've got Sting and Clawful together, so he has where his whole motif was a scorpion, so he's got supposed to be a scorpion claw, and Triple H is supposed to be kind of like their Skeletor.
He is a very Skeletor-esque.
Yeah, and he always does his especially his WrestleMania entrances are always he's like a Skull King, so it really makes sense for him.
See, I kind of got out of wrestling a long time ago, but I was always Undertaker was my favorite. Then my second favorite was Kane, and I always loved that rivalry between the two. And then from there, I had Mankind. Yeah, and Stone Cold and The Rock. That's my top 5 of all time. I mean, those were the when you think, especially when you think of late '90s wrestling. Yeah, that was wrestling. Really what I was into.
Other than the NWO.
Yeah. You love to hate the NWO. I think was the thing.
There was no really getting around that.
No. Moving on from there, something that we were talking about Dragon Ball Z earlier. A series that's been going on YouTube for a long time.
Yeah, for 11 years, wasn't it?
I believe so. It's been quite some time as a parody of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and it's made by a group called Team 4 Star.
Yeah,
they're hilarious, if you've never watched it, check out Team 4-Star. They've ended their series. They're not doing the Boo saga.
No, unfortunately.
They did from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z all the way through the Cell Saga, and their rendition, it's hilarious. It's not like the serious Dragon Ball Z. It is joking and just making fun, really. It's a nice parody of Dragon Ball Z. It's using the same animation, though. It's just they're voicing over.
Yeah, and it definitely was not politically correct in any shape or form.
No,
not too bad, but like, yeah.
Vegeta's probably my favorite from that as well. Just the fight between him and Goku. Are you okay in there? Sure. I'm surrounded by gumdrops and ice cream.
Oh, but it's a shame that they're not going to keep going forward with it.
It really is.
I've not watched like the entire series. I've seen like select episodes, and I've watched a few of their abridged versions of the films.
Yep.
And it's definitely their version of the first Broly movie is great.
Another one by them is the Hellsing abridged, which makes me want to watch Hellsing. By the way,
I mean that's good. That's it's when a parody series makes you want to watch the original.
Yes, that's how you know it's good. But Alucard and that is just hilarious. If you've not watched that, I think they come out with an episode like every Halloween or around the time as when they were doing it. I don't know if they still are or not, but it was hilarious.
From what the team said in their kind of like farewell video is they said they just couldn't do it justice, so they didn't want to even really try.
It makes sense. Which I mean, there's so many episodes of Dragon Ball Z. At least they're not getting into something as big as
Super.
Well, no, it's not Super, but One Piece.
Oh, yeah.
One Piece goes on forever. So does Bleach. Both of those are extremely long animes. If you get sucked into it, you're going to be there for a while.
Oh yeah.
And I watched a lot of Bleach. I haven't finished that series though. Is Bleach still going? Even
I think so. I think they have some version.
It has no end.
Like I started watching Dragon Ball last year because I was going to watch the entirety of the Dragon Ball saga.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z, and then Super.
Yeah.
GT is just not canon, so you can just skip over it.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
It's kind of it's a pretty daunting task. I think I got to like episode 38, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to stop.
Back in my childhood, I tried to watch Naruto, not Naruto Shippuden, but just regular Naruto. Mm-hmm. And back then, even I was like, that's too kid-like. And the same thing with Dragon Ball. I couldn't get into Dragon Ball or Naruto. They were just too kid-like to me. Yeah. And I wanted something more serious. I was an angsty teenager. I wanted seriousness, okay? And I started watching Shippuden, and that's what I've been watching a lot of is Naruto Shippuden. And I've really fallen in love with it, actually. My tattoo is from Itachi and Naruto Shippuden. Oh.
I'll get it on camera. Yeah.
But I absolutely love it. And I love anime, but there's a few American cartoons that I do enjoy. Family Guy and
you watch Venture Brothers?
I did. I love Venture Brothers as well. But from Venture Brothers, we could start talking about Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty is that's what's taking
that's
everything right now
by storm. Everyone loves Rick and Morty. And
I mean, once the Szechuan sauce incident happened, you knew that there was something going on with it.
Pickle Rick. And speaking of Pickle Rick, those Australians in the land down under get something nice now. I guess you could say nice. They're getting some Rick and Morty donuts at Krispy Kreme. They're doing a line of donuts and a drink. There's a Pickle Rick donut, which I'm not a fan of pickles, but pickles and donuts that doesn't sound appetizing to me.
That doesn't sound like a very good idea, no.
I don't know if it's actually pickle flavored, but there's Pickle Rick on it, and they have a few other ones. There's a shake or something as well.
Is it going to be like pickle flavored?
No, it's not pickle flavored. There's the not bleep.
What is that thing that the
Fleep?
Fleep. I think
Fleep juice or something like that is the shake. And then you had a strawberry donut and a Simple Rick. I think it was a Simple Rick.
Simple Rick's wafer.
Yeah, Simple Rick's wafer donut. It's like, I'm intrigued by them, but I really don't want to try a pickled flavored donut.
Yeah, that's true. See, the reason that they get this stuff overseas is Americans, we don't know how to handle things. I mean, like I said, like the whole Szechuan incident. That's why we didn't get the Pokemon burgers at Burger King like they got in Japan.
That's true. What in tarnation is this? My burger looks like a Pikachu.
That Doug Dimmadome getting a Pikachu
Don't
burger.
get a Pikachu burger.
Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
All right, if you could have anything like series-wise as a smartphone, what would you pick?
As a smartphone, after playing Metal Gear Solid 5, I'd have to go with that because the iDroid that they had, and they did have a case for it for a while, so I could have kind of had it, but like that would probably be it.
See, I don't know how this just went completely over off the scale, off the radar for me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that Samsung actually released a Star Wars edition smartphone last year. I think it was last December. They released it. I think it was the Note 10 or the Note 10 Plus. They had a Star Wars edition that I have not seen, and if any of your viewers out there have one, show us a picture. I don't know.
Yeah, send us a picture. We'd like to see it. In person, and tell us if it works very well.
Yeah, I have a Note 8 myself, and I enjoy the notes, but that's something I'd like to get a good look at and maybe try. I know my wife; she's a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm sure she would enjoy it as well.
See, that's something I hadn't heard about either. Is the Samsung Star Wars phone, which is surprising. I don't know how how that really went
unnoticed.
Yeah,
I was just doing some a little bit of research and stuff like that to give us a few talking points, and I saw that and I'm like, wait, what? They did this?
Yeah.
How was this not advertised widely? You had the Star Wars movie and everything last year. I would assume that went hand in hand with that.
You would think.
I don't remember seeing anything about this.
That had to be the marketing campaign for it.
Yeah, because it released in December, and so did the Star Wars movie, right?
Yeah.
So they released around the same time. Why wouldn't that not be a huge thing for you? I don't really understand the marketing there.
I don't either.
There's a few companies, though, that I'm concerned about their marketing skills right now. I don't know which.
Yeah.
I'm not in marketing, so I can't say anything. But
not yet. You're not in marketing yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
I was looking at some of the comments that we have as we're getting ready to wrap things up around here. Josh Wood said, "Hey Kevin, tell Thomas to go register."
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what you're registering.
That's
we'll find out later when you register.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much the only viewer comment.
It's not to vote. I'm registered to vote.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Star Wars, though.
Wait, that sounds bad. If you're, not a lot of people think of any other registration except for one. We're not going to say it.
No, it's to be a soccer coach.
Okay.
No, nothing bad there.
Good.
But we're talking about Star Wars, and a huge resurgence from Star Wars. Mark Hamill he's never really left. He's been relevant in the nerd world, the geek
pretty
world.
Pretty much for as long as he's been acting.
Yeah. Voice acting and just here and there and everywhere, and he actually, I believe, got offered a role in The Witcher for Vesemir, which is awesome. I mean, the Witcher series is fantastic.
Yeah.
Netflix did a really good job with that. Mark Hamill is fantastic. I like him better as Geralt than I do as Superman.
You mean Henry Cavill?
Yeah,
okay.
I said Mark.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, yeah. Henry Cavill, he does fantastic as.
And it's good too because he actually is a fan of it.
Yes.
And when you have somebody that actually cares about the material that they're playing, it makes it so much better.
Yes.
Which is what was really disappointing. What I read recently with Ben Affleck as to why he left the Batman role.
Oh yeah, I haven't read that. What?
He was just really apprehensive about taking on a comic book role. And that's one of the reasons he stepped back to let someone else take over in the Batman film. Like he showed the script to a friend, and he's like, yeah, this is really good, but I think you're going to drink yourself to death, which that's not good.
No, that's not healthy. That's not healthy behavior.
I think Ben Affleck was probably the best Batman we've had since Keaton, but I can also understand you can't just do what the fans want. You got to do what's best for yourself.
Yeah, saying he's the best Batman. Not saying those are the best Batman movies. But
Dawn of Justice is up there, though. I mean, that's really Justice League. It was hit or miss, but
I still love the Nolan.
The Nolan movies were great. I'm not gonna take anything away from that. Those were great.
Would you say that he would be? Can you imagine him as that Batman?
Ooh, I don't think I can imagine him as that Batman, just because that's such a specific take.
Right. Just like you couldn't imagine.
I couldn't imagine Keaton in the Dawn of Justice role either.
Right. And I'm sure you couldn't imagine another person playing the Joker other than Heath Ledger for those.
No.
Even though Joaquin Phoenix did a fantastic job as the Joker, I'd still
poor Jared Leto's just out in the cold, no Oscar for his Joker role. But Suicide Squad did still win an Oscar, and it had the Joker. So
right. Yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people. There's a very poor taste in a lot of people's mouth from that Joker. It's hit or miss for me. I liked it, just as a different rendition, and we kind of have to deal with stuff like that. I was talking about The Witcher, though, before we got off tirade about Batman.
Specifically.
Yeah, but from The Witcher, though, another the guy that played Tormund John'sbane from Game of Thrones, which wrapped up this past year, he's cast in The Witcher as well.
I saw that.
I always liked him as Tormund.
He was really a great part of that show.
Yes, I'm glad he didn't die. He was one of my favorite characters in the show, actually.
Spoilers, man. I know it came out 8 months ago.
Oh, you still watched? Oh, my bad.
I don't care.
Spoiler warning.
The only thing I've watched since season 3 is the premieres and finales of each season, with the exception of 8.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm aware of what happens.
Okay, well then, at least it's not too much of a spoiler warning then.
We've got another comment here from Kyle Mead.
Okay.
Keeping it with the Mark Hamill talk as well. He wants to know what we think about Hamill voicing Skeletor in the He-Man animated series. You're never going to go wrong with Mark Hamill voicing anything.
No, everything he touches, voice acting wise, is gold. He's been the Joker, and how many different renditions of the Joker that he's voiced?
At least 3.
And he's just been that laugh. To me, that's the most iconic Joker laugh.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, that Mark Hamill Joker laugh is just the most iconic. I think he'll be a great Skeletor as well. He does such a great job with those voice roles. I really think even up there with his acting roles, I think they're hand in hand.
Yeah, he has played 2 of the most iconic characters in entertainment.
Oh, yes.
Luke Skywalker and the Joker.
And
it doesn't get bigger.
Both sides of the spectrum, they're good and evil.
It's like you have the greatest good and the greatest evil.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue about the greatest good because I guess that's not really canon though, where Luke strayed off the path and went to she didn't really go to dark side.
Yeah, just kind of went to the neutral side.
Yeah,
kind of
the gray Jedi. Yeah. I always like the gray Jedi better. I'm an anti-hero person myself.
Yeah. You can't be all good all the time.
No, you can't.
As much as you can try to do your best, but just in life, you're gonna mess up sometimes.
Exactly. Even trying to do good, you sometimes do bad. But anyhow, I think
I'll just answer a few more questions here.
What we got here?
Josh Branham, is he using the Joker voice for Skeletor? I imagine it'll probably have some similarities. I imagine the laugh will probably be the most similar.
Yeah,
if Skeletor does laugh in it.
Maybe a little bit more raspy on that laugh, but yeah. I can imagine it being quite similar because, can't go really too wrong.
It's probably very similar to his own laugh. So, and Larry Cross Jr. Hey Larry, how you doing? Hope Joaquin will do another, but he is not well known for sequels. I think he probably will do another Joker though.
You think so?
He seems like he's pretty keen on it.
Hopefully
he doesn't have to go all anorexic though with it like he did with the last one because that took a toll on him.
Who's the villain in the new Batman movie? Has that been
Penguin is one of them.
Penguin? Okay.
Catwoman's also going to be in it.
Okay.
Colin Farrell, I think, has been the one cast as the Penguin. Zoe Kravitz is going to be Catwoman.
Really?
Yeah. Andy Serkis is playing Alfred.
Huh.
Which I think that's a great.
He's another one that's great with everything he touches.
He really is. The fact that he did not win an Oscar for playing Caesar in the Planet of the Apes films is a travesty. And I understand that they didn't do that because they don't really see motion capture and voice acting as real acting, which is stupid and idiotic.
Yes.
Because whether his costume was digitally made or not, that was still him playing the character.
Exactly.
And he should have been recognized for that.
Yeah.
A nomination at the very least, but he should have gotten the best picture or the best actor win for that. And Corey, he also said Affleck was good. That was a good Bruce Wayne. Corey Grimm.
Okay.
And fit the businessman look, but I think Bale played a better Batman. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
And Kyle Mead says Riddler's also going to be in it.
Ooh, okay. I like the Riddler.
I think I saw Paul Dano might be playing him. I think Jonah Hill was originally going to, and then he stepped out and saw Dano.
I couldn't imagine Hill as the Riddler.
I think since Jim Carrey, well, not even really since like probably Frank Gorshin in the Adam West series, they've kind of like Riddler's kind of been played off as a second Joker. He's really not though.
Yeah, like in Gotham, I think he really does kind of fit that bill as a second Joker.
Yeah. Kind of crazy, but kind of funny.
Yeah.
I mean, riddles aren't jokes, though.
No, they're not.
They're very different.
Very serious.
Yeah. Riddles are serious business.
Oh.
Well,
I guess we'll call this one a wrap, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And until next time,
Pinkies out.
Pinkies out.